it wasn't until this last year that I started going to church with you, stopped drinking alcohol, that I like truly found my purpose. I feel like a lot of people that drink in Wisconsin have been drinking so long they don't deal with a lot of their issues and they just keep drinking to push it further and further. But at some point you have to stop and fix those issues. Together we found God and got deeper with our relationship with him to the point that now I feel like he's finally allowing us to find our purpose and do what he put us on the earth to do. I feel like that's like a blessing, and I'm super excited to try to help people do exactly what we're doing on this podcast. I was searching in my past for who I was and what I was going to become through drug use. I wanted to use psychedelics to try to find.
When did we first meet? He doesn't remember. So we first met. I'm just kidding. I just take over the whole podcast.
We first met back in Nam. We first met when we were working at the Point After together. I was serving, and so were you. And that's it.
That's it, folks.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a good storyteller.
But you do talk a lot, but only about certain things.
Things,
not stories.
Stories, yeah.
Yeah, because I always am telling the story. I feel like I still don't tell it well, but I'm the one talking about them.
Yeah. But yeah, we met at the Point After in Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. We were working there for a little while. We were friends for probably a year. And you were in a relationship.
And you were in a relationship.
Then you had your third child. And then we went on our first date, even though you didn't know that. We went to State Fair, and you were buying tickets, or I can't remember if you were parking the van. I don't know. You were separate from us. And then there was this guy that came up to me and was like, "Oh, your kids are so beautiful." Or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, "You and your kids like look so good or happy together," or something. And I
beautiful
was like,
family. Yeah.
Not my kids, but one day.
Yeah, I had 3 kids by the time we started dating. And the youngest, Rosie, she was probably close to turning 1. He took us to State Fair, me with 3 kids.
And we randomly ran into your brother.
Oh, yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we ran into my older brother, and we like hung out for a while and stuff. But that was one of the best times that as a family.
One of the best family moments you've had with the kids at their young age.
Yeah, because they were always fussy because they were younger. And we were there all day, and they were so well behaved and had so much fun.
Yeah,
and
a perfect family outing.
It was a perfect family outing.
To start the family.
And then I come home and my mom goes, "Where were you? Who were you
Yeah,
with?"
and your brother must have said something.
Maybe, but it
and
was
then
just
so
funny.
she like knew like, oh, like someone's in a good mood.
And yeah, it was funny because I was like, we're just friends. Like, I never thought that we would be together. We were always really good friends, so I didn't expect that from Andrew. That's a fun story.
Yeah.
It's cute.
People don't expect much from me until I do it.
Then it's like, wow, didn't know you had it in you. Just kidding.
Yeah, no one knows what you're capable of until you do it. And if you don't show the world your abilities or your potential, then you're the only one that knows it. So people should get out there and try to create things that they know they're capable of doing instead of just having the ideas in their head. And that's kind of what God has given me as a purpose, is I want to help people reach their potential. And become who they're supposed to be through creating websites or their own brand or starting the business that they've always wanted to start. Something I want to talk about on the podcast is what we're doing with your podcast is I'm helping you reach your potential, because I feel like I have all these thoughts and ideas in my head and I know how to do so many things, whether it's video editing or what equipment to buy or how to set it all up, the electrical component side of it, like all the tech and gadgets. Whether it's the tech and gadgets, I just know so many things about so many different things. I feel like so many people would be capable of doing so many different things and they just don't know how to do it. I'm kind of almost on the opposite end. I know how to do so many things. I just don't know which thing to do. One of my callings is I want to help people because I'm a problem solver by nature. I can figure things out and understand things at a complex level. For me, some things are super obvious and can make a lot of sense. And I feel like I could help a lot of people realize their dreams by helping them create things and giving them step-by-step guides and giving them motivation and making the world a better place because of it.
And helping people find their purpose.
Yeah.
And when I read your first book, I started doing the podcast, and we were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Your book really does open eyes and hearts to that potential that we all have inside of us, that purpose. So how did you find your passion?
I've always been able, like a critical thinker, and have been able to find out how to do something. And I also can't do things just because that's how you're supposed to do it and that's what I'm told to do. I want to know why and understand the meaning behind what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I always try to think about how can I do that better, and is there a simpler, easier way to do it so that I can streamline the process. And so I've always been curious and inquisitive by nature. And it wasn't until this last year that I started going to church with you, stopped drinking alcohol, that I truly found my purpose. My whole life I've been searching for what I wanted to do with my life and who I wanted to become. I know a lot of people struggle with that. It's hard when there's so many options and so many things you could be doing in life to pick one thing that you're good at or that you want to do. For me, I know how to do so many things and I'm good at a lot of things, but not great at anything because I don't stick with one thing. It's easy for me to just be like, I'm just going to get a new job and do something else. And I kind of like the changing things up and finding new things to do that I like, whether it's working in a warehouse or working at a fast food place or working as a plumber in the trades. I like learning new things and doing things that can test me. It wasn't until this last year that I stopped drinking and we went to church that I truly found out who I want to be and who I am supposed to be. And I feel like God has kind of given me hindsight into my purpose in life. And going to church, I was searching in my past for who I was and what I was going to become through drug use. I wanted to use psychedelics to try to find, I guess, God inside of myself and figure out the answers of the universe and try and solve any personal issues I had or issues in the world. I was thinking maybe through this trip I can figure out who I am and what I'm supposed to do. But I feel like the problem with that is you're using drugs that amplify your current mental state. If you don't know who you're supposed to be, it's hard for you when you're high to know who you're supposed to be. But you think maybe I'll think outside the box and something I'll get divine inspiration. But I feel like only God can really give that to you. And going to church, it was almost like hindsight hit. I was like, I just got to start working. I got to start doing these things. And with technology progressing as fast as it has, whether it's through large language models or AI software, it's easier than ever to create and do anything you want. So really there is no more excuses. And coupling that with God giving me my purpose, I feel like a lot of people need that in life. I feel like most people who are just working a random job they don't really care about, helping the owner of the business make more money. Meanwhile, they're making just enough to get by, living paycheck to paycheck. They need some way to find a reason to try harder and a reason to do things that will make their life even better. You can try numbing yourself with alcohol or drugs, or trying to expand your consciousness with drugs. You're never going to actually get that answer unless you, at least in my experience, unless you find God, and God can help you get those answers. It's not going to be overnight either. After a few months of not drinking alcohol, not using any substances, I did lean in on nicotine a little bit though to help me get off the alcohol because I was drinking almost daily.
Yeah, you were drinking every day, and it was a problem. Even though you were able to work and function, it caused problems in our relationship. It wasn't something we wanted the kids to see as a influence.
Yeah, so like my alcohol never felt like a problem because it would be me drinking a couple beers after work, but then doing that for over a decade, and then drinking 3 beers a night, maybe 4 beers, maybe 6, maybe 12.
It
And
became more and more.
like I could drink a whole 12 pack of Corona and not feel anything the next day, like not wake up with a hangover, and that would be like a normal Tuesday night for me.
We are
And
in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as I've said in the past, and we're known for drinking. We're known for drinking beer and cheese. So
yeah,
we are normal here. Like, that's normal. Like, if you told somebody that here, they'd be like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah,
it wouldn't, if you're from Wisconsin and you hear the story, you're probably thinking, that's not that
yeah.
bad.
Like, why is he saying that's an issue?
But it
he only
is.
has 4 beers after work. Like, yeah, that's a
Normal.
weeknight.
Yep.
And that's some people's weekends when they go out partying with friends. Just 4 beers. But in Wisconsin, if you're going out partying, like 4 beers is your first stop.
No, that's your pregame. You're doing
Yeah.
that at home.
Yeah, before you go out, because you're like, I got to save money by drinking at
Yeah.
home because it's cheaper. And then you're like, I'll drink like 3 or 4 beers, get a nice buzz going, so I only buy 1 or 2 beers at the bar, but you still end up buying 5 or 6.
Because the more drunk you get, the more you don't care about spending that money. And
Yeah, you don't look at your bank account
Yeah.
when you're buzzed
Mhm.
and feeling good.
You don't.
And so that's another negative. Even if there is
Mhm.
no negative health aspects of alcohol, it does cost a lot of money, especially if you're socializing with it, because bars are going to charge you 5 times the price of buying it at home.
And I know a lot of people too like to gamble. In the bars, they have the slots,
Yeah.
right? That's what
Yeah,
they're
the slot
the
machines.
slot machines, and they'll have a couple of them. And I've seen people go on them, and they spend their money, and then they're calling people to get more money, and it's just like,
Yeah.
maybe if you don't have it, don't spend it.
Yeah, and you're drinking and
And
buying
you're
drinks the whole
drinking,
time
and
too.
you don't. Yeah,
You don't even have the money to be gambling,
Mhm.
and yet you're spending it on something that's temporary.
That's why I said in my first podcast that, yes, smoking isn't a sin, drinking isn't a sin, but what are you doing when you do drink or when you do smoke? So it's like, when I drink, okay, I'm spending a lot of money, I'm making bad decisions that aren't good for me financially, emotionally. People will call their exes or, or stuff like that, but start fights in the bars, all that. So we do have to take a step back and look at what we're doing and what those things are making us do, because we're not having any control when we're drinking or smoking or both.
Yeah, because most people, most of the time, can control themselves while they're drinking, but there's always that one time you overdrink, or that one person that just can't handle alcohol and they don't even realize it, and they just start saying ridiculous things. Sure, you're with friends and they understand, like, yeah, you're drunk, but if you get caught on camera saying something ridiculous and you're drunk, like, that's not that's not an excuse. And you're still doing it in God's eyes. Like, even if it's with friends and you're being funny and having fun, like getting drunk and obnoxious, like, God sees that. So, like, if you were hanging out with those same friends and you weren't drinking, it would probably be a lot different. And that's alcohol causing you to, sure, it maybe loosens your guard and makes you have more fun in the aspect of you don't care as much, but also that means you don't care as much, so you're willing to change who you are in order to not care about who you are to have more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's not a healthy coping mechanism, and you should look for a better way to handle social anxiety, depression, just regular anxiety, and rather than numbing it with alcohol, because you're never going to heal then. That's like putting a Band-Aid on something that's bleeding and it never stops bleeding, so you keep changing the Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta probably go to the doctor and figure out what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to your mental health, using alcohol to numb yourself is never going to cure your mental health. It might work for the night. You'll have fun, go out and have a good night, at least while you're doing it. The next day you'll regret it. If you can put down the bottle and go to God, you can actually, like, it's hard, but after the first month, it's so much easier, at least in my experience. It's so much easier to not keep wanting to have my beer after work and like not have the addiction be so hard that I can control it rather than it control me. Then it's easier to go to God, and it's easier for God to help you because you're going to be committed and he'll be able to help you with your issues and your problems. And like I said before, you'll almost have hindsight and look back like it's so obvious that this is what I should have been doing the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put the bottle down and pick up the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be the name for this
from bottle to
for
Bible.
this episode.
Yeah.
From bottle to Bible. But I had a lot of things to say while you were speaking, but it was also great. For us, it's easy to talk about all these things because we would go out, we'd hang out with friends. We both grew up in a household where alcohol was normalized. And we have friends that, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, we're going out. Like, you know, and we talk about pre-gaming because that's what we did. We'd sneak in bottles into Chuck E. Cheese. Like,
yeah.
we have
Yeah,
done,
pour
drinking
some
and driving.
alcohol into the soda.
Yeah.
Save your money by bring
it in a bottle.
a fifth from the gas station.
So we say these things because we didn't feel comfortable not drinking, like going somewhere and not bringing a bottle and not bringing beer. So now our life is, we still hang out with our families. We still hang out with friends and go out, and we won't drink.
Yeah. So this year is the first time I've ever been to a Milwaukee Brewers game not drunk and like actually watching the game. So it's like a completely different experience when you are sober and hang out with your family, and the game, you can actually watch the game and talk to them about the rules and how it's played, rather than pre-gaming and getting drunk and not even watching the game, just socializing. That's one way to have fun, but it's not the best way to have fun.
Yeah. And we're not like judging anybody. It's just that our lives have changed so much from just cutting it out completely. Yeah. And it's just saying, like, making a choice, like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, because some people, like I said, can handle their alcohol better too, and it isn't an issue, and they're not drinking daily, and they're not over drinking when they do drink. They're having a couple beers. For me, I couldn't do that. If I have a couple beers, it's turning into a couple more, and next thing you know, all the beer is gone, and I got to go and run buy more for the next day.
Yeah, and you also, after you quit drinking, you would buy non-alcoholics.
Yeah.
And you drink those for a while.
Yeah, because they taste the same, because like I really do enjoy, for me, beer was what I like drinking the most, not like hard liquor. I could drink, if I was going to drink liquor, it would be like tequila with margaritas. But yeah, I like beer so much, and so buying non-alcoholic beer really helps for me, because I just like the taste of beer. And there are some good non-alcoholics out there that if you just drink beer daily, it's a good way to remove the alcohol from the beer, so you don't have an addiction to the alcohol, and sooner or later it'll turn into like, oh yeah, I'll drink 3 or 4 beers, which causes inflammation in your body, which causes long-term pain and a whole bunch of issues in your brain. inside of your body, your joints. If you have any joint pain, memory loss, or difficulty focusing,
I
that
mean,
can be caused by alcohol.
even like depression or sadness too.
Yeah.
Anxiety,
Because
it
alcohol
amplifies it.
because alcohol numbs you for so long that you never deal with your issues that you're having in your head. And so you can be depressed and think like, I'm just drinking to numb my depression, but the drinking's causing your depression because you've never solved those underlying issues that are causing the depression. And then the alcohol just makes it worse, because then when you're sober, those thoughts come flooding back in and you're like, I need to drink to get rid of these, rather than dealing with them. I feel like a lot of people that drink in Wisconsin have been drinking so long they don't deal with a lot of their issues, and they just keep drinking to push it further and further. But at some point you have to stop and fix those issues. But yeah, if like alcohol's not a problem for you, it's not a sin or like bad to drink, especially like if you're doing it in a good way, like just on the weekend for a wedding or something. But it shouldn't be a regular thing that you're doing on weeknights or just drinking to drink. It should be a celebration if you can control it.
I mean, not even that. Like, I understand that for sure. I personally don't even want to do that, because the reason why I stopped drinking was to support you. But even before that, I didn't drink a lot. And when I did, I would have a beer or something. Like, there was times in my life where I would drink a lot, and there were times that I did drink a lot. But like a day-to-day regular thing, I would enjoy here and there. I didn't like how I behaved on alcohol. I didn't have the control. I felt like I would get angry or mean, or I would be rude, or I would say something I would regret. So for me, if I was like at a wedding and I wanted to have a couple of drinks, I know that I would act a certain way that I wouldn't feel appropriate with sober. Yeah. So, but that's me. Most people don't struggle with what I struggle with.
Yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of people that do too, though.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It's just not as big of an issue. So, because it's not, like you said, you don't drink a lot. So, like people like you don't run into that problem as often as someone that drinks daily.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Finding your purpose and your passion with God and being able to write a book. And you started doing all these other things, and I want you to talk about those things. And I want you to read the back of your book to like describe what the book is about. Yeah.
So I'll start off with the title of the book, The Spark, available on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I wanted to write a book about creating your first app, because that's what I was doing. I was using ChatGPT and Cursor. Well, later on Cursor. I started with ChatGPT, which is a lot harder to use, but it still would do all of the coding. So I would prompt ChatGPT I'd started with the idea like, oh, I'm creating this app and I want this, that, and the other. I would come up with ideas and brainstorm how it would work, what it would do, all of that. That was awesome, because brainstorming with ChatGPT is amazing, because it almost feels like you just give it a simple prompt and it takes your idea and it expands it and gives it so much detail that you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then you'll read another thing and be like, actually, we should change this to say this or that. And your idea gets so refined so quickly that you're like, this is like a real thing. So I started creating with ChatGPT an app, and I would prompt it, and then it would spit out some code, and then I'd copy and paste it into Xcode, and then open up the simulator, and it would open up the app that I was creating, and then I'd run it and troubleshoot, and then tell ChatGPT, okay, this isn't working properly, let's fix that, and then I'd on and on. I could go on and on about it, but
yeah, you can, especially like your website.
Yeah,
and your app.
And it's only gotten easier since I started, and that was this year. It feels like it's been years.
Mm-hmm, and you took a little bit of a break, too, knowing that the AI would get better.
Yeah, I was following AI closely, or I still am, but I'm following AI, and I know how fast it's progressing, that I can code without, like, I took coding in college, but I don't know how to use different programming languages and everything, but I understand how everything works and the if and statements and everything else, but I couldn't just sit there on a keyboard typing all the code. It's like a whole nother language, but the language isn't like words that fit in a sentence. It's like words and letters and numbers and
you did 4 years of college, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years at UWM. And that leads back to my purpose is like I dropped out of college because the whole time I was going, I was like, I don't know what I wanted. I don't know what I want my degree to be. I changed my degree 3 times from mechanical engineering to computer programming. And in between those two, at one point I was like, I want to be an English major because I was really liking English. And I took extra language arts classes and really got into writing, which go figure, I wrote a book.
I mean, and you're doing everything.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you just talked about
from
coding,
writing the book,
writing,
coding,
and
designing the websites.
I mean, just like everything.
Brainstorming, marketing, and like everything. That's why I want to be a personal brand manager. Is I want to help people figure out, because there is so many different things you have to do and know how to do, and I feel like I can help people learn all of that.
No, you for sure can, because you helped me.
Yeah.
With everything, he's like, find your brand, your niche.
Yeah.
I was like, what's a niche?
Or a niche.
Niche?
However you want.
I don't know.
Niche, however.
What's your niche? Find your brand, and you have to do this, that, A, B, C, D. And I'm like, whoa, like, this is a lot. And he's just been right there along with me, helping me do everything. And yeah, it's been difficult. Of course, it's going to be hard because you're doing everything for the first time, something new. But I wouldn't have been, I always say, like, this wouldn't be possible without God, because neither one of us would be in this position to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I know when we first started dating, we had broken up a couple of times. And I was super sad because I literally told myself, like, I'm going to be dumb. Like, I'm not going to learn anymore. I'm not going to grow, because he's just so intelligent and so smart. And I learned so much from him that I relied on you for that knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I knew, like, I could come to you about whatever, and like, we would figure it out.
That's why I bought you that shirt. I don't need Google. What's it say?
I have, what is it? I don't need to Google it.
I'll just ask my husband.
It's my husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's funny. And it's so true. And the kids laugh because they're the same way. I'm like, why are you coming to me with that? Like, go ask Dad. Because but
even with things like Pokemon with Rice,
there's
it's like he
so
asks
many
you
things.
a question about Pokemon, and it's like I'm the one that talks to him about that and takes him to Pokemon on Saturdays. So dropped out of college because I didn't know my purpose, and it took me. I went to college in 2012 to 2017. I dropped out because I was like, I don't want to get my degree and be locked into something that I'm not sure I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I just was like, I'll go back if I can figure out what I want to do. Never went back, and just kind of drifted through life until I met you. So, and it wasn't meeting you that changed my life, but
don't lie.
Our lives changed when we were together through God.
Both of our lives changed
so
together.
It's like, our
that.
lives weren't bad before, but they
we'll
weren't.
Speak for yourself.
I was still an alcoholic.
I was a single parent.
We were struggling together, even like with our relationship, and me breaking up with you and hurting you in that way. But then together we found God and got deeper with our relationship with him, to the point that now I feel like he's finally allowing us to find our purpose and do what he put us on the earth to do. I feel like that's like a blessing, and I'm super excited to try to help people do exactly what we're doing on this podcast. Now I'll finally, instead of leading you guys, everyone on and not reading the back of the book, I'll go ahead and do that now.
Is this a good time to tell them that you have ADHD?
In a good way.
In a good way. Andrew has ADHD, and he uses it to his advantage.
Yeah. ADHD isn't the ability to learn and sit down and learn and figure things out. It's just in the classroom setting, you're not interested in doing those things. And it's hard for people with ADHD to be focused on things that they really don't like. And so with ADHD, if you find your passion and you are really passionate about something, you will have more energy than anyone else to continue to do it and have the drive and the want to do it. So it can be a superpower if you're using it properly. Most people live their lives. It will look like you have issues and that you aren't normal and you can't fit in. But if you frame your life and make it fit the way that you work in your brain, and not even with ADHD, but everything else, if you can figure out how best to live your life with what you have and the way your brain works, you will live your best life. And God will help you find out how to live your best life and find your purpose. So I said I was going to read the back. Now I'll start. Reignite your spark. Step into the life you were made for. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they never start. They wait for the perfect moment, collect endless advice, or let habits and doubt hold them back. The spark is your invitation to break that cycle. Through real stories, practical insights, and faith-driven encouragement, Andrew Wyatt McEwen, yours truly, shows you how to see struggle as fuel, not failure, replace old habits with new identity, build momentum with small steps that add up, discover the fire God placed in you from the start. This isn't a book of quick fixes. It's a guide to becoming who you were meant to be. One choice, one step, one spark at a time. If you've been looking for a sign, this is it. So that is a really good way to describe what is in the book. It will give you motivation and inspiration and help you be able to discover what you once knew you had as a child. Because everyone as a kid, they might not know what they want to be, but when they think of something that they can be, they dream big. And like if you want to be an astronaut, but then next week you want to be a firefighter, you just picture yourself in a movie and doing the amazing things. You don't see the work that goes into it, though. As you grow up, you see the work that goes into those dreams, and then you slowly get discouraged. But if you can stick with and truly find your passion, you'll want to stick with those things and become who you're supposed to be. And so that's what I hope this book does. And I don't have the second book yet on hand, but it is out now on Amazon. Also, it's called The Build or The Build. And
The Spark,
same
and
author,
The Build.
Andrew Wyatt McEwen. And that book, if you already have inspiration, but you just exactly what or how you want to do something, The Build will help you turn your ideas into something real. And it will, like in the book, I talk about websites that I designed and that are there for a free resource for people to use as a blueprint or a community to help build exactly what they're trying to build in life. I want to design the website so it goes as far as I want to be a better husband. I want to be more religious. I want to start a website or a brand or an app. I want to start a company and I want to open up a food truck.
I want to start a podcast.
Yeah, I want to start a podcast. Step-by-step blueprint guide where you can check boxes on what you've completed and take notes, and gives you prompts for ChatGPT to help brainstorm each step of the way.
Well,
So,
even hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's with a Life XP app that I started a while ago that I put on the back burner because it's going to be big and life-changing. There's a lot of work for me to do myself. I want to get myself out there and look for investors to invest in me, my brand, or my ideas individually. But I want to hire on a whole team to work on Life XP because it is such a big idea and it will solve so many problems that the AI era is going to bring in. Whether it's job loss, it'll help people retrain on how to change career paths because that's very difficult to do if you've been working in tech or manufacturing for 10, 20, 30 years and you haven't done any work on yourself or what you want to do with your life beside that, and then all of a sudden you get laid off. You don't know what to do or how to do it. My app will hopefully help people figure out how to retrain in a career that's a little more safe, that won't be replaced by hopefully machines and robots soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's further out
Yeah.
than I imagine it is, because I feel like it's sooner than everyone else thinks. The app Life XP will help people find new job career paths if they've lost it due to AI or manufacturing efficiencies. It will also help people learn new hobbies and skills. So I want to build in a social media aspect to it and community aspect, because I feel like that's lacking in the world, is community, especially with religion. Like, you shouldn't feel like religion's hard to get into. Like, people have their cliques and their groups that they stick to, and then new people coming in might get overwhelmed or feel intimidated when they see a group of people talking, and then they don't feel like they can join in, even though they can. On the outside, you don't really know that. You can join communities and have at least an online community, which isn't as good as an in-person community, but that's what Facebook was almost designed to be, is a community for people to connect. But it's more become,
Well, the world
show.
turns everything bad,
Yeah.
and God turns everything good. And so when we talk about social media, a lot of people say hateful things, rude things, mean things. And I think that was a hard part of doing the podcast and even posting simply on Facebook daily, is that somebody's going to probably say something, and it's,
Yeah, someone will be offended in some way,
somebody
somehow.
will be offended or just not like what you say or whatever. And I had to come to terms with, finding that comfort in God and just saying like, oh, it is what it is. But it's hard. It would be nice to have a social media where you can have a community where people aren't being evil and mean and rude. So like,
Yeah.
if you have a community where people are actually trying to be better, and because like if somebody had your app, right?
Yeah,
And
I've told
like,
people about my app, and they're already like, "When's it going to be done?" And I feel so
yeah.
bad being like, I'm doing so much right now that I don't have time to, like, it is something that will help people, even on a small scale with daily tasks or
Yeah,
grocery shopping
right.
lists. Like,
Or
it
hobbies,
is
like I
almost
said.
an all-in-one app. I feel like you will open up your phone to go to this, to talk on your communities, or go finish your grocery list, or complete some tasks on
Yeah,
learning a new
kids,
skill.
husbands,
Yeah,
connecting them with your
bettering your
family.
relationships.
Everyone can share a list. I mean, we
Remembering to
got into it.
text or call your mother.
But I mean, like I was saying, is like having a community where people have a purpose and a passion for something bigger than themselves. That seems like a good community.
Yeah.
When people are on social media just to like troll is wild to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, it's like some people, and those people on Facebook, like there's some people that just like always post random stuff, and it's like, what to expect. Every couple days this person will share something funny or silly,
right.
or this person's gonna post family photos, and then there's some people that you're just like, oh, great, I see a comment by this person. I've been on Reddit a lot, and there are like accounts that, like, those are the trolls that will literally just say something just to stir the pot, and
Sure.
sometimes you're not even sure if they're actually human. On Facebook, they probably are. I feel like
I
that's
feel like
pretty
they
easy to
are.
know who's,
Yeah.
because you added that person knowing them from
Yeah.
going to high school
Well,
with them or whatever.
I
But
recently posted on somebody's like video or something like that, and it was just about Christianity. So I was just saying something simple, well, that I think is simple. But somebody had commented, like, because there were people who were commenting and like asking questions, and I was commenting back. And then somebody was just like banned Lydia McEwen, and like people were started saying like bad things, and I just liked them because it's like, what do you want me to do? Like sit here and argue with you about? So yeah, that's what social media can be filled with.
yeah, and so like the community aspect of the app that I'm making, there will be main quest lines that you can complete, like whether so like a big skill, not just like I want to learn how to knit, because that is a big skill. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that's like more of a hobby. Do that on your own time and get better over time, and you can watch stuff.
And then start a business.
Yeah, right. Turn it into a business. But the large skills, what like I want to change career paths. So I want the quest line for becoming a union certified plumber in Wisconsin. And I'll have the community be able to create this specific quest line so an individual person can create a quest line based on of their learned experience and get rewarded within the app for creating the quest line that helps other people that people like and promote. When you complete that major quest line of becoming a journeyman plumber in Wisconsin, you can join the Journeyman Plumbers of Wisconsin community. And if you can, there will be locked communities where you have to prove that you're part of that community. It would be easy for them to, okay, this person's trying to join the Journeyman Plumbers of Wisconsin union or community. They would be able to look up that they're a certified plumber and they are eligible to be in the community. Then you could join that locked community of like-minded people. And let's say you wanted to become or join the community of knitters. That would be probably not a locked community because there's nothing. I feel like that's a community that people would want to help new people and share. It's not something where you'd want to gatekeep anyone from. So there would be open communities for things like that too. I feel like you'd be able to join communities based on skills you have or quest lines you've completed. It turns essentially the game or the app turns real life into a game where you get rewarded for completing tasks in the real world, get that serotonin, feel driven
Rewarded.
to continue to do the things that you should do in your life. Sure, there's time for video games, and I always played video games and ever since I was a kid. But lately, because I found my passion, I don't have time for video games. I'm so busy, and with a family, with a wife and 3 kids, it's hard to balance that time, video games, my passion, work.
And
So
like extra
I had
family.
to drop out video games, at least for a while, until I can maybe I'll get back on video games someday and show the younger generation how to really play.
Oh wow. He's
Just
calling
kidding.
y'all out.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't have found any of this or any of my passions or projects that I wanted to create without God. And God helped me find out I wanted to create this Life XP app. And then he also showed me this is what you should do. And then now I started designing websites for myself. And he's like, this is what you should be doing. Let's put that ahead of the Life XP. And like I feel like he's speaking through me and telling me, helping guide me what I should be doing when, because there's so much to be doing that it's like I just look to him. And like when I feel overwhelmed or I'm not sure what to do or I get stuck on something, if I take a break and go to church on Sundays, I go into church and all of a sudden my brain starts getting flooded with ideas. And I'm like, I got to take notes in church a little bit. Like the pastor will say something and I'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, literally, oh my God, you're speaking to me.
Yeah.
And I have to jot this down.
Yeah. Like,
and it's, yeah.
and then
true.
I get out of church and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I need to be doing.
We talk about resting in God, resting in his word.
Yeah, when you are taking breaks and or you're not motivated to do something, I need to do this more, but I need to get into the Bible. And I know this, I've been thinking it lately, like God's been telling me, when you're sitting there and not motivated, just open the Bible, pick me up, because every time I go to church on Sundays, the message like resonates so much and makes me want to do more that I'm like, I know I can do this for myself. I don't need to wait for the pastor to do a sermon on scripture. I can get into the scripture myself and I can have God speak to me through the Bible and give me the motivation. And so I know that's something that I need to work on more, and I will. Next time I'm on the podcast, I'll tell everyone my progress on that. But I feel like once you realize that, it's like the Bible can literally give you the motivation or the passion that you want, because you're through those words, you're communicating with people that either walked with Jesus, people that were followers of Jesus, or people that looked up to him, or Jesus himself. So you can get direct messages from the person you're looking up to and looking for. There's so much in the Bible that there's literally something for everything. Don't think like, oh, well, I'm in this situation. That
your
Bible,
problems aren't too big for God. In our head, we make our problems huge and nobody can help us, or, nothing can help us. But God really does know you and he knows exactly what you need and how to work in you. And you just have to choose him, and you have to put him first every single day. Even if you call yourself a Christian, even if you're somebody who reads the Bible, and you know that even more than someone who doesn't read the Bible every day. You know, we need him every single day, every second. And when we're feeling frustrated or, like you said, not motivated, that you take a break and you get into word, into scripture, and you know, you talk to your pastor or you talk to a fellow Christian and get some motivation, because what's in our minds and in our hearts can change by what we put in it. So if you're not filling yourself with God, then you're going to be filling yourself with something else that is ungodly or unholy. And I think it's important that we put him first in every situation and every little thing. Everything that you do, do it in love. 1 Corinthians. Now I read it completely different than how I read it before. Now I read it like, yes, everything that you do, every breath that you take, every step that you take, how you speak to people, how you think about people, how you treat people, it needs to be done in love. And you don't really know what love is until you've learned the love of Jesus. And even once you've learned the love of Jesus, you don't even fully understand the love he has for us. I'm able to really look at things a lot differently and see people a lot differently, and even treat my husband a lot differently. Andrew texts me and goes, "Thank you for the lunch. It was delicious," because I make him lunches for work. And I had texted him back and said, well, thank God, because without him, I wouldn't have done this, because I wasn't making lunches.
And I wouldn't be eating them, because I'm the kind of person that, like, if the food's not easily accessible and like given to me, I'll just not eat, because I'm perfectly happy not eating.
Yeah, he'll open a bag of chips or something, or throw a pizza in the oven, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't really care about food too much. I'm the opposite. The opposite of you.
Yeah.
I'll eat if I need to, not because I want to.
And so, yeah, I wasn't making him lunches. So I told him, thank God, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have cared to even make you lunches. But I care about you and I want you to eat. And I think it's important that, you know, you're doing a physical job. I prioritize that, and God has told me that he has given me this husband, he has given me these children, and that I am capable of doing these things, and it should be done with love. And so I go about my day as a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, and as myself, Lydia, going out into the world, spreading the love and joy that Jesus has given me.
Something I wanted to just mention quick is, if you're anything like me, you have ideas constantly, and it's almost like sometimes you'll have an idea and then like literally seconds later you'll forget it. And that's where ChatGPT can come in, or other large language models. I just use ChatGPT. But if you're anything like me and you have so many ideas constantly, it's hard to like get them down. Right now she was talking, and I wanted to interrupt just to say I hated having to write down my thought, because I use ChatGPT and I'll use voice to text, and I'll be able to instantly just spit out like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs or 3. Like, I'll talk for minutes sometimes to explain my thoughts and my ideas, and then it'll get it down, and you don't have to worry about typos or misspells from the voice to text. It'll correct all that. It understands better than you would correcting it. It would like spit out really good thoughts and ideas that you can refine. So right now I just had to write down an idea, and it took so long compared to voice to text that I was like, I wish I could just use ChatGPT right now, but then you'd hear me talking in the background.
I saw him writing and I was like, I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, so that he can get his thought down. But it's like, writing's a good way, like writing with pen and paper is a really good way to get your ideas down, but not when it's like you have a spur of the moment idea, like you want to get it down so that you can really capture that exact thought. And so one thing you mentioned that I wanted to touch on was like evil. If you leave room for evil to enter in to your mind and your body through not filling it with something good. So if you're like the type of person that you're not sure if you should, like, your life's good and you're happy and you want to be religious, but at the same time you're like, I don't think I need it.
Or you don't believe in it.
Or you don't believe. If you really look at the world, you can see there is plenty of evil in the world, and there is good in the world, and
there's a lot of good.
It doesn't matter what you believe in. There is evil and there is good. And are you gonna fill your soul, your mind, and your body with good, or are you gonna be like, I'm gonna sit right here in the middle, and now you leave space for evil to come and creep in, whether it's depression, anxiety,
worry, fear,
or a literal evil spirit. If you leave room and you don't fill your mind, soul, and body with good, and it can be good in any way, family, friends, community, that's good. If you fill that, your time and space and mind with that, or church or God, there's less room for any evil to enter in your life. And so if you are not sure if you should join a church or get into the Bible, just think about it like evil versus good. And if you don't fill space in your mind or time in your life for good, then that just gives more time for evil to creep in and take hold. And you might not even realize, but like even something as simple as the music you listen to.
Yeah, I was going to say watching TV.
Yeah, like Netflix, like don't ban me, Netflix. Just kidding. I'm not on Netflix. But even the music, social media you consume.
When you end up, really what it is you end up supporting something that is unholy.
Yeah, and you might not even realize it, but like fill it with good, and the evil stands out, and you're like, it trick-or-treating, or like that in itself is like, oh, kids having fun. Yeah, but they're getting candy, which is not good for them, and they're dressing up as something that they're not, and they are essentially worshiping, like, we don't know what they're worshiping, like, evilness in a sense, which is like,
well, God says to not have other idols, to not worship anything.
False idols.
Yeah, false idols, and don't worship anybody over him. Could say, well, God comes first. And it's like, okay, but what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you willing to stop doing the way of the world, and do the way of God? Because for me, it was easy to make the decision to say, okay, yeah, I don't want my kids to be a part of this. No, I don't want a big bag of candy. I just don't. I care about their health.
You have to draw your line somewhere, or the world will draw it for you, whether it's the pharmaceutical companies, which medication you should take, or the food industry and the FDA. Are you going to let them decide what you should eat because they know what's best for you? And these dyes that are under-researched are perfectly healthy. Are you going to take it upon yourself to put your own health in your own hands, and your own body and mind in your own hands? Or are you going to let the world draw the lines for you? And with evil things, like, it's up to everyone. We decided to not fully support Halloween. That doesn't mean we think the whole world shouldn't. Everyone makes their own decisions, and we support everyone doing whatever they want to do. We just want to follow as close to God as we can, and the best way we know how. And we think that drawing our lines where we want and where we think is good and acceptable is what we want to do, and hopefully people in our family and friends support that for us too.
Yeah, they do. Nobody's made me feel bad about not doing Halloween. And I sat down with my kids and explained to them, like, this is the relationship that we want to have with God. And for the kids, they're a little bit older. Royce, our oldest, is about to be 12. Sitting them down and talking to them and having an honest conversation with them and telling them that, or this TV show or movie is not good for you, and that you should not be filling your brain with this, but you should be filling your brain with this.
And on top of that, when you, like, what we do with our kids is we don't like hide things from them. If they see something or they hear something, we don't just go, oh, like that, just don't, like, you didn't see that or you didn't hear that. When they do see things, we explain it to them. Like, we, as best as we can and what we
Well,
know,
as best as
like
we want
with
to.
food and sugar and like
Sugar,
diet and
food,
health, like we
yeah.
we talk to them about those things because you need to educate your kids yourself. You can't rely on just other people
Or the school
government
system.
or the school
Right.
system to educate your kids completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might do a fine job, but are they doing the best job? And do you want to help your kids as much as possible by teaching them every second of the day?
Well, and with kids, especially being in school or being on YouTube and all of that, social media, other kids are going to be influencing your kids, and you don't know what household they're involved in. So it's important to make sure that you have a very strong household, that we are building families up and making sure that mom and dad are followers of Christ.
You feel like your life is good enough and you have good enough morals to withstand the evil of the world and do good. That doesn't mean your kids will be able to understand and have those same morals. Religion has, or at least Christianity, has good morals built into the Bible and teachings that you know what morals you're getting out of that. Your kids will pay attention to who you are and what you do, and you can teach them their morals, but if you know they're in the Bible and they're going to church, you know that they're being taught by other people the same good morals that you want them to have. So it's not even just about like yourself when it is about
right?
religion. Like you want to help your kids by knowing the community and the people they're with, hanging out with, and the friends they have also have good morals.
Yeah, with Christianity, people having that community and that fellowship, not worrying about your kids being around other kids or being around other people or the teachers, knowing that they have those standards and those morals. And the word of God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. So it's not something that you can twist or turn and make it, into what you want it to be. It is what it is. And that's the hard part of being a follower of Christ, is denying your flesh and leaning on his word, knowing his word, studying it, and becoming it.
Which brings us right into our next topic. I wanted to mention what I was writing down earlier was that if you start going to church, depending on how you're living your life now, it could be a drastic difference. And you might look like a completely different person to your family and your friends, and they might kind of reject it at first. They might not support it because they don't know what's happening, and you're different. Like, let's say your family all drinks, and you guys used to always hang out and party together, and now all of a sudden you don't, and you come into a situation where it's someone's birthday and everyone's partying, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to, and they're like, what? Like, why not? Like, are you feeling good?
Yeah.
And your family and friends don't do drugs or abuse alcohol, and your life is already
on the straight and narrow.
On the straight and narrow.
I said arrow. Is it narrow?
Straight and narrow. I think narrow.
Yeah, straight and narrow.
Maybe it's
that
straight
makes
and
sense.
arrow. I don't know.
No, straight and narrow makes more sense.
Yeah, but then it might not be as drastic. But if you find your passion, such as like I'm gonna be a YouTuber, and like God's telling me I need to podcast, and your family thinks that's a little strange or weird, they might look at you like, and they might not support it. They might not even understand or know what you know. Only you can know what God is telling you, and so you have to show the world. You should go out there and do it and prove to people that you are going to do what you're going to do. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Don't wait for other people's approval.
Yeah,
like do your own thing, focus on your relationship with God. And like for me, having a family, for us, the support I have from you is amazing. You will set aside all the things that you're doing and help me.
What websites?
With your books, websites, everything. He'll stop it and he'll help me and make sure that I'm getting what I need done. And so
I like teaching. I want you to be able to do it yourself too, not so that I don't have to, because I will. But it's like you don't want to not know how to do things. Like you want to learn it. So like that's one of my passions, is I want to like help people actually do things that they are capable of doing, but they just don't know how to. It's not, they don't know how easy it could be once they learn it.
Yeah, and I'm really happy too that you are willing to be on this podcast and probably be in future episodes and stuff.
When guests are lacking and you need another episode to edit.
Well, also, like, I do want to have more men on on the show.
Yeah, because so far you're not super far into the podcast yet, but you've only had women, so I'll be the first male to represent the other half. But yeah, I feel like maybe it might be a little bit harder for men to open up about religion or their personal experiences, because sometimes you can feel vulnerable and people don't want to feel that, especially in the public. But talking about your experiences to help people should never feel like a negative or a bad thing, because you can only help people in your situation by letting them know you've been in that situation and you are here now. And if you want to truly help people, the best way to do it is making it public and be willing to help people and show up for them. And one way to do that is opening eyes of people, such as, like, if anyone's an alcoholic or anyone's dealing with ADHD and doesn't know quite how to handle it or what to do,
or curious about religion, curious about God, let's say, and Christianity and the walk and what it looks like and what it looked like for you. You know, my purpose is spreading the gospel, the word of God, and opening up completely so people do feel comfortable that you are normal and it is okay, and you can and should forgive yourself, because God forgives you. If God can forgive you, if he can help you and be there for you, then why not forgive yourself and forgive other people who have done wrong to you? You know, everyone's struggling. Everyone has a story. And for my fellow brothers and sisters, I would love for you to join the podcast and share your testimony and talk about God and the love of God and the gospel. So yeah, I am looking forward to many more episodes and sitting down and speaking with different types of people and learning about their different walks in life and their walk with God. No, but you are such a handyman, like such a multi-tool that you just, like, I'll call you for any little thing, and like it's either you know it or you've done something similar and you can just like be like, it's probably this, or maybe try that, and it's exactly what you said it was. And I think a lot of people doubt your skills and question you, and I'm like, have you not seen what this man is capable of doing? Like, I trust him completely with anything and everything. So
yeah, I feel like I just have the ability to kind of understand the physical world, like mechanical devices, and this should work because it does that. And so that also translates into systems and technology, because it's like, if you do this, this should happen. Why isn't it working? Well, maybe because if you do this.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think it's that you're a great man to speak to about God, because you are such a technological person. You are such a scientifical man.
Scientifical is not a word.
You are such a science person. You are such an analytical person that it is a miracle for me that you have picked up your cross and followed God and are wanting to learn, and you're open hearted and minded, because there was a time where you weren't. And like you said, you turned to things of the world such as drugs and alcohol and psychedelics. And so for you to be where you are today is huge. Doing all the things that you're doing and helping me and being a great dad and a great husband and a great person. You've been out there helping family out and showing up and being there. And
it's just sometimes hard to find all the time to
it is
help everyone, because like
you're busy.
We're so busy, and then we've got a family. It's just, and working a full-time job on top of it. I can't wait
It's weird.
for the day that I
Yeah.
can work for myself.
It's weird if we were to write down a list of all the things that we do or have to do. We'd be like, how do we find time to do any of this? Any of these things?
Pray about
we
it.
just pray. We just know that God is putting us on a path.
The timeline might not make sense to us, but to him, he knows
Yeah.
what we should be doing. So if we follow him, he'll show us the way.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing, walking in faith.
Yeah. Through dark, through light, through thick and through thin.
Through the valleys to the mountaintops.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
I look at my Lord and realize.
I take a look at myself and realize I'm very blessed.
Is there anything else that you want to share with the world?
Is there anything else the viewers, you, would like to ask me? If so, leave a comment down below. And we will be sure to answer it in the next episode. Who knows how soon that will be. Probably sooner than later, though. So if you if you feel like me or Lydia can answer anything for you or talk about anything, if you enjoy the way that we have had conversations together, we are open books, and we want to help you, the viewer, and anyone, whether you're seasoned with God or you're new and you're discovering this video and God for the first time. We want to help you and each other. So ask away.
Ask away. And we will have a scripture down below for you to learn. And we will have maybe a link for your books. Yeah, we can link your books. I'll link my website that Andrew helped me with. I wanted something super simple and clean for the podcast. And that would be really cool if you guys check that out. And
yeah, if anyone wants to be a guest, they can go on there. It's a quick little survey to just give a description and who you are and how we can contact you to set up a day to bring you on. We just got a new setup, so everything looks good. New microphones, new lighting, and
yeah, we just
headsets.
totally jumped into this.
Yeah, we figured like with the first couple episodes, we're like, let's step it up a little bit so that we can really
let's do this.
Yeah. I don't think there's any hesitation or any question of that this is part of our lives now.
Yeah, big part of our lives.
We want, like, if you guys have any feedback or any questions or want us to talk about something, or if you know someone that would be a good guest that is willing to be on here, comment there and tag them in the comments, or tell them to go to Lydia's website and fill out a survey.
Yeah, or share the video and get the word out and help us out so we can help other people out. And that would be great.
Yeah, each episode we'll try to reach different audiences of people that are dealing with depression, anxiety, alcoholism. So if there's a specific episode that like touches you, or you might think could help someone in your life that you know is struggling or dealing with the same things that we are or that you might be, I feel like that's kind of the purpose of this, is to show real world testimonies to get people the help that they need, which is always going to be the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So I know I didn't pray us in, but I can pray us out.
Yeah. Okay. We just kind of jumped into it. We did jump into it. A little busy, of course. And this is the second podcast this weekend.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pray us out. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with my husband. And I hope that this episode and this podcast reach the world and help whoever it is that needs help. And that we have a beautiful week, and that we praise you, and we're so thankful for everything that you have done in our lives and have yet to do in our lives. And we would not be doing this if it wasn't for you and your glory. So thank you so much. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Have a blessed...
Good job, babe.
Oh, thank you. Have a blessed day and week. See you again next Thursday.
Yeah. If you're watching this,
You
it's
know.
2 weeks in the future. Tell us what stocks to invest in.